Welcome into TexAgs Rewind, presented by Specs. Specs Wines and Spirits Finer Foods has been a Texas family-owned destination for selection and savings since 1962. It's your one-stop shop with literally thousands of wines, spirits, and beers at everyday lower prices. I am David Nuño, Annabelle Podesta, and we've got Maria Griglione with the snap there here on the Rewind. Annabelle, I'm going to say it in Spanish. What was your favorite part of today's show?
I think when everyone came in and did the baseball segment, just chatting about that, and then the new facility, I saw that last night on Instagram.
That was good.
So I was like,
J.B. Moss, Brodie Greene, Ryan Brauninger, and Richard Zane. Maria, favorite part of the show?
Mine was also the baseball segment, except when Brodie was talking about his jaw and the baseball hitting it. That made me queasy. Yeah, I felt bad, even though it was 10 years ago.
It was a great conversation. That makes an appearance, I believe, on the Rewind. It does. I'm looking at it. We had OB. Was OB good today?
He was.
OB was great. OB's always great.
I loved his shirt.
Okay. He did have a good shirt. Drew King from Missouri. He was an insider. He gave us some insight into Missouri basketball. And Billy Liucci on a mobile, talking Super Bowl, talking baseball, talking basketball. That and more. It is the Rewind. So Auburn, undefeated in conference play. Auburn is undefeated.
At least 12, but I wouldn't be surprised. Arkansas looks like they're really coming on.
Look at how many teams are right there at 6-4. You have 7 teams at 6-4 and better. Okay? Mm-hmm. Those 7 teams include some of the top 10 teams in the country.
Well, I'm looking at Oklahoma, and they're almost at the bottom, and yet they're 15-6?
15-6, 16-8.
And they've got wins over Michigan, and they've got some big non-conference wins.
Yep.
So
3-6 in conference play.
That last spot may really come down between Oklahoma and Arkansas, but I think one of those are going to get in.
But Mississippi State,
State's good.
They're number 8 right now. They're in.
And they got destroyed by Missouri recently.
They did.
And they're good.
Vandy just lost. They're getting in. I think they're getting in. They're close. They're knocking on the door of getting in. Kentucky's getting in. Georgia's getting in as of right now.
Yeah.
Texas is not a for sure right now. Oklahoma's not a for sure. Arkansas is not a for sure, but the way they're playing, it feels like they're heading towards that.
It sure does. I mean, gosh, talk about a couple of big wins they've gotten just recently. They beat Texas in Austin and then Kentucky.
The only two
at Rupp.
The only two that I can eliminate right now, and I'm not saying 14 teams are going to get in.
South Carolina and LSU.
That's it. Those two, I think they're not getting it.
And South Carolina has a win over Clemson.
Yeah.
One of the better teams in the ACC.
So from those 14 teams, and yes, they'll beat each other up, but every win you get in this conference pretty much is huge, right? You're getting quad 1, quad 2 wins constantly. You win a couple of quad 2s. You win one quad 1. You got yourself 20 wins. You're in the tournament.
Again, I think 13 is going to get in. Maybe I'm drinking too much SEC Kool-Aid and I'm over hyping it, but just for all the reasons you just said, whenever you get a win, they're almost all quad 1 wins.
Yeah.
And I look at Arkansas again. Was Texas on the road a quad 1 win for them? Kentucky was.
Yep.
So if they keep playing good basketball, and hopefully they won't when they come here in next week.
Talk to me a little bit about the success Mizzou's had this year. I know they had the setback against Tennessee, but overall, what makes them such a potent team?
Yeah, so there's 4 main ingredients, right? 2 of them are pretty familiar. I think most people would be familiar with Dennis Gates. They get a ton of turnovers, right? They get really disruptive on defense. They gamble for steals. They really like playing in the passing lanes. So that kind of creates a lot of chaos for teams who aren't prepared for it. And then they also get up a ton of threes, and they've got some pretty good shooters outside that can knock them down. So those are kind of what have carried over from the past 2 seasons. But then this year, what stands out about this team is how much more physical they are, right? So they're getting to the free throw line a ton. They kind of lived at the stripe this season. And then they're also one of the better rebounding teams in the SEC this year, which has kind of come as a surprise considering Mizzou was bottom 5 in the country in defensive rebound rate each of the past 2 seasons. So those are kind of the 4 main things that have helped Mizzou get off to a good start.
Okay, Drew, maybe answers some of this already, but in that last answer, but Missouri entered the year, I think, preseason number ranked 13th, picked 13th in the SEC. So what was everybody missing?
Yeah, so I think for one, they probably were still thinking it was the same team as last year. And that team had a lot of injuries to it, right? Caleb Grill went down after 8 games, and John Tonje went down pretty early in SEC play. And those two guys were Dennis Gates' top transfers. And you look at what they're doing this year, Caleb Grill is the best shooter in the country, and John Tonje is the best player on a Wisconsin team that's going to make the NCAA tournament. So I'm not trying to say that Mizzou would have been a winning team with those two guys healthy, but they definitely wouldn't have gone 0-19 against SEC opponents. And so I think that people thought that was going to kind of be the same team coming into this season, but all the guys that returned have taken a step forward. Like I said, Caleb Grill looking like the best shooter in the country. Tamar Bates has been super consistent. And then the sophomores, Ant Robinson and Trent Pierce, have taken a step forward. And then you add in some of the transfers that have supplemented those guys. And I think that that's why they've really kind of surprised a lot of folks around the country.
All right, let's start off with JB. Expectations. All right, when you have high expectations, number 1, number 3, number 5, whatever, top 10 expectations, but especially top 5 expectations, how does that kind of go into preparation for a season and having to weather all the accolades?
Yeah, I mean, you would obviously like to think the guys would prepare the same way, whether they're ranked number 1 or unranked. But, I mean, obviously the expectations are warranted. And listen, they better take this one day at a time, one pitch at a time, or, you know, they're going to stumble out of the gate. But I fully anticipate that they've got their head down and they're doing exactly what they need to do. And, you know, I think Coach Early and the experience of last year's team is really going to help with that. There's so many guys returning. So, like I said, this is an absolute gauntlet. I saw Bronny's tweet about the schedule and just how many tough games, especially in conference play away from home. You literally have to take this one day at a time. You'll get yourself in trouble. But I fully anticipate that's what they're going to do.
Brodie?
Yeah, I think it's a different perspective from this side of it as opposed to the guys over there. I mean, they've got their daily routines, and the season just, you know, flies by, and you get a day off each week, and that's it. And you're doing the same thing nonstop each week. So I think over there, the expectations, they know they're there, but the expectations were there that last year, you know, and the guys were performing. I don't expect anything different from that side. From this side, you know, we just got to take it one day at a time as well. Like last year, these guys went undefeated midweek, non-conference. That doesn't happen every year. You know, that's wild for that to happen. So if there's a midweek or a weekend series where you drop a game, you know, that's more to be expected than to not. So I think from this side, you got to take it a different lens than over there. But those guys are going through the routine every day. So the expectations, they know they're there, but I think, you know, it's just another day and they'll perform.
Well, I think it speaks to the level that the program has risen to as well, that you come to Texas A&M, the expectation, you guys know, whenever you walk into the hallway at Bluebell Park, there's an Omaha sign right there in front of you. That's the expectation of this program. And like it or not, the previous head coach helped get it there, right? There's no doubt about it. But from where it goes now is you recruit players that when you walk in here, there's no question about what the goal is. And Mike Early has been presenting that in recruiting visits since he's been the head coach. But when I look at this team, and obviously staying healthy is a massive part of it, right? You can never predict injuries, what may or may not happen with guys getting banged up. But the questions that you ask when you look at this roster have nothing to do with the baseball. The baseball part of it is how tough are you? How together are you? How do you overcome the adversity that the schedule's inevitably going to throw your way?
How cool is it, again, to have a bunch of Aggies participating this weekend with Braden and Anais for Philadelphia? Just Anais' rookie year, and he had such a nice preseason, had that touchdown a few weeks back before the season ended, the regular season ended. Just talk a little Anais and Braden for me.
Well, I think Braden's a bigger piece of that deal as their starting punter. I mean, a massive piece. And it's had he's been exceptional really in Philly. He's done really well, I think. So I know a couple of games ago I was watching, he came up clutch more than once. I don't know I think their first playoff game, but you know, Braden's been he's been what we thought he'd be in the NFL. I guess that Jet thing didn't, going to the Eagles has been a godsend for him, and now he's going to be I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he'll be the first Aggie to punt in a Super Bowl since Shane Leckler did in, I want to say 2002, when the Bucs beat the Raiders. So, 23 years or so since an Aggie's punted in a Super Bowl, I think. Y'all can fact check me. I believe that to be true. So, pretty cool thing there. And then for Ainias, I think the coolest part is just getting this experience, or just being a part of it. Just for life experience. I mean, how many athletes ever get to do something like this? And some of these guys, I know a couple guys, Aggies, over the years that were in a Super Bowl their first year and never went back. Like, I think Dan might have been in one his second year with the Giants and never went back. I think Rich Cody, I remember him back in the day, Super Bowl as a rookie with the Rams, never went back. Like, that's a difficult. Cameron Spikes was on that team as well with Rich. But for, like, Ainias, it might be something you never get to do. And a lot of people play their whole careers and don't get to do it. Not to mention, growing up, we all would love to be, Radio Row in the Super Bowl. But more importantly for his current career, I think just to be a part, as a rookie, be a part of a winning organization. Oh, by the way, make that playoff Super Bowl bonus money, which as a rookie, ends up making up a huge chunk of your salary as well. Like at the end of the year, how much he's going to make is going to increase by a very high percentage just by this team's success and those bonuses and stuff. And then, oh, by the way, the chance to get a Super Bowl ring.
By the way, she works with us behind the scenes, doesn't ever do on the air. Nick forced her on the air. She knows what to tell the people what to do. She does.
I knew it.
You always cheat. You're a cheater.
What? What do you mean?
Show the people your laptop. Do you always do it?
I'm a good friend.
I've noticed.
She is a great friend.
I've noticed recently that people are like, don't know the answer, and then they kind of look in this area, no matter who's there. Wasn't you yesterday? And they're like, oh, I know what to say now. Did you know what to say?
I was like, forgot what the word subscribe was, so I was like and comment, and then I was
and
like,
then something else.
And then something
It was
else.
just a helpful reminder.
It was a great reminder.
She knew.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
There's gonna be a penalty for that next time.
Uh-oh.
You're gonna have to sing it. Sing, like, comment, subscribe. Go.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
That was actually really good. I did not expect you to do it. In fact, I feel bad for making you do it, but you were good. Sorry for those who watched that. We'll see you next time.